Well, folks, good morning. Here we are with avocado tree number 3. This one is a Pinkerton. The differences with Haas is Haas avocados supposedly stay on the tree well better than most or all other cultivars. You should be able to hold fruit on a Haas for about 7 months out of the year. Pinkerton a little less. I chose this because they didn't have any Haas or Lam Haas avocados in 5-gallon sizes. I only had the Pinkerton, Mexicola, Fuerte, a couple other cultivars that I wasn't keen on. So I chose Pinkerton because of the large fruit size. It's a prolific producer. The seed is small and the flesh is still really creamy. There's no stringiness to it. The skin is a little bit thin, and they hold well. If you pull an avocado off a Pinkerton, you should be able to store it on your counter for about 2 weeks before it starts getting soft and ripe. So if you were to pick them, they hold really well. Just sitting around on your counter. So this is a 5-gallon Pinkerton. It's already starting to go into flower. I'm going to do the same thing as what mango growers do with a young tree. You let it hold the flowers, you let it form little fruit, little avocados, and then you pluck them off. And that should allow the avocado to grow a stronger root system. Picked up also their top-notch potting soil used for raised bed planters and such. I'm going to mix this in with the soil that's already here, which is excellent stuff. This is a mix of native soil and compost when I originally put it in, but just to refresh it of its nutrients, I'm going to mix it in with a bunch of potting soil. I already took off the layer of mulch. As you can see, these bags are full of wood mulch that were laying on top of the soil. And then I used this strainer to filter out the smaller wood chips. So I don't want to dig in a bunch of wood chips into the soil, which will suck up nitrogen. But here's my poor Haas wanting to live, but I'm not going to leave it in this premium spot. So we're going to try to remove this thing as gently as possible, but I'll probably end up killing it. But I'm digging around the roots trying to find out where the border is, and I'm going to be mixing this master blend into the existing soil, and we're going to take her out, pop my nice little baby Pinkerton in, fill it in, and then lay the mulch down. Anyways, we'll be doing this in stages, so let's see what happens. Thought I'd let you guys take a look and see the extent of the roots. This has been in this raised bed for about a year. And there you can see the roots here. Try not to disturb them or chop them up or whatever. So I'm going to start doing some fine work with a hand spade or a hand shovel or whatever. And it's good to know that there aren't any like tunnels or holes. I talked to somebody who said that maybe the tree was suffering from like gophers, moles, something eating at the roots, but nothing like that. It's just the transplant shock in putting in a larger tree did the tree in from the get-go, and so all it did was just die for take a year to just basically dwindle down to what it is right now. But we'll see if I can try and salvage this tree. So I'm going to try and get this done as fast as possible so these roots don't get blasted out here in the sun. It is supposed to be fairly warm today, 70 degrees. And so I'm going to try and get this moved out as fast as possible without doing the most damage and pot it in there. I was actually taking a look at where my mango was and thinking, hey, maybe I could just transplant it over there, but I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to put it in its pot, see if it can recover, and then figure out what to do with it. So anyways, just wanted to let you guys take a quick look at the roots of this avocado in this raised bed back when I've got it out. Alright, here we go. The whole thing's been dug up. I've pulled out the big mess, the big root ball. Try not to break up as many roots as possible, but from what I've heard and what I've experienced about avocado tree roots and them being very sensitive, I pretty much think I killed this tree outright just by unearthing it. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to put in some potting soil into this container, which I put some wood chips at the bottom. These are that Pathway cedar chips, I believe, but I'm just putting it down here just to improve drainage at the bottom. So I'm going to fill in some potting soil, pop that sucker in, water it thoroughly, give it some B1, something to help guard against the shock, but we'll see. But yeah, I had to take a break earlier because I forgot it was wild card weekend, so I stopped unearthing it, covered it up with the dark tarp just in case sunlight would have damaged some of the strands of roots that were unearthed. I want to see if Philly Rivers could finally lead a team and win in the playoffs, but nope. And that's why he's Philly Rivers, and that's why I'm glad the Chargers got rid of him. It's not like he lost the game. There are other reasons why they lost the game, but when it came down to clutch time for him to throw the ball and get them in the field goal range, Philly Rivers just does not have the gene to win. He doesn't have the GOAT gene. He's just Philly Rivers, a really good quarterback that'll never win anything. But Chargers got rid of him, and enough of football talk. The reason I'm doing this now is because the Rams and the Seahawks are on, and I don't give one whit about the Rams or the Seahawks. So we're going to finish this job. I'm going to get this in the container now. Alright, got the tree potted. Here's the hole for the new tree. These are some of the roots that unfortunately broke off. We'll see just how hardy these avocados are. If this thing just dies outright, then I pretty much think that my initial transplant, when I accidentally cut into the root system as I was removing the plastic container from the Haas, which I purchased, that probably sounded the death knell, and then it just and then I just basically watched the tree die over a year after killing it from the initial transplant. But we'll see. Maybe this thing will survive. I've got some leftover Fox Farms liquid plant food, Big Bloom. This stuff has mycorrhiza in there and other things that help transplant shock. So I'm going to water this tree in, add a little B1 to the water as well. Hopefully it'll survive, and I'll just keep growing it out in a container and then figure out what to do with it. But now we're going to fill this hole with some amendments. I'm going to throw in some rock dust. I'm going to throw in some earthworm castings, mix it in with the soil, mix it in with some of this master blend raised bed mix, and then we'll get this sucker in. Do it right around dusk. It'll have the cool of the night to situate itself. Alrighty. Alright, here we are. I've managed to wiggle this Pinkerton out of its pot without having to lift up on the trunk, cause any stress. Just kind of rolled it around on the ground on its sides until it got loose. and then just tug the container off. But as you can see, it is root bound, so I'm going to try and tease out the roots with this old chopstick and spread out the roots without having to slice them or cut them or damage them. And then we're going to refill this puppy and see what it looks like. Alright, I managed to tease some of the roots out. This is about as far as I'm going or willing to do. I'm afraid of breaking off some of these larger ones, but I didn't want them tangled in and wrapping around the sides. Good thing it's only root bound on one side of the tree. The rest of the tree looks alright. But at least I've got this video to show the nursery in case this tree goes into transplant shock and drops all its leaves again. Then I guess I'm going to go out looking for another one. At least the nursery has a 1-year guarantee, whereas the 2 previous avocado trees I bought were at a local nursery, Mexican-owned place. I wanted to give them the business. I think they're called Sun Soul Nursery. They only take cash. I didn't ask them about guarantee, but the 2 trees I bought from them died. And this last one that I bought was severely root bound. If you look at what I previously shot of the roots clinging to the sides, well, when I removed the plastic container from the last tree, I was afraid of trying to tug it out, so I took a box cutter and I sliced down the side of the container. Got ruined a perfectly good 15-gallon container, but I accidentally sliced into a cluster of roots that were, it was so root bound that I had sliced through a cluster of roots. So then that probably sent the plant into shock. So this time I was a lot more careful. We're going to backfill, and then we'll wrap this video up. Alright, pretty much done. It's situated. I actually put it in raised a bit because I know there's going to be some settling. Got the flares exposed. You don't want to bury these things. So I'm just trying to find the existing potting soil, the level that it's at. But as you can see, as I try flattening it down, there are roots exposed. Since avocados have a shallow root system, that's why you want to mulch them. I'm not going to mulch it today. It's evening or it's dusk, so I don't have to worry about the roots getting cooked. Plus, I'm being overly paranoid. But I'm going to start a batch of worm tea, beneficial microbes, so in case there was some kind of disease that affected my last lamb Haas or my last Haas avocado, I am going to flood this area with worm tea and hope that does the trick. So I'm going to be brewing up a batch tonight, put some bubblers in there, get the microbes all frothy. I'm going to water this thing thoroughly in the morning and then lay down about 2 inches of wood chip mulch. And we're good to go. I've got the stake side facing the afternoon sun. I will cut the ties there so it doesn't restrict the trunk, and I will place another stake on the other side to help support it. And then final step is to whitewash the trunk because avocados are prone to sunburn, so I'm going to whitewash this trunk. I'll probably end up ordering that Ivy Organic stuff. Might as well. I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to whitewash, so I might as well get the good stuff. I'll whitewash this tree. I'll whitewash my mango. I'll whitewash my pluots. I'll whitewash my figs. And I'm paranoid now that the latex paint that I used might have poisoned the tree, so I'm going to go with the organic stuff and order some from Amazon. Alright. Maybe I'll shoot one final clip once everything is mulched in, or we may as well just end it here. The Saints game is going to be on, or actually it's on now. There's another team playing tonight that I actually want to watch. I don't care about the Saints or the Bears either. Have a good day, folks.